Hello Stampers, Kelly Acheson at AstampAbove.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin. Today I have a really cool background to show you for the men in your life. So we're going to be doing a camouflage background and I've got two different ways to do it and I'll let you decide which one you like better. So I made the original card for my husband and I have to tell you we've had some bumps in the road this week, and that's putting it mildly. On Tuesday morning, bright and early, 5:30 a.m. I'm not really a morning person. My husband went in for surgery to replace 4 discs in his neck. He was also scheduled for surgery the next day. They go in from the front one day and the back the next day to fuse all of his vertebrae. Well, after his first surgery last Tuesday, later in the evening, his neck started swelling up and it turned into a real scary situation because it was cutting off his airway. So he was rushed back into surgery where they had to insert a tracheotomy in his neck and keep him heavily sedated. So unfortunately, that's put a little monkey wrench into our schedule this week. We're just blessed that he made it through the surgery because they said if they had waited just even a few more minutes, he probably would not have made it. So any blessings that you might be willing to send his way would be greatly appreciated. And that's why I didn't have a wait, what? Wednesday video. So I've got a really cool technique to show you today. Let's get started and you can decide for yourself which one you like better. Okay. I started with a piece of very vanilla cardstock, and this is 5 1/4 by 3 7/8. I'm just going to bring in a piece of paper here. This might be just a little messy on the background here. I'm starting out with crumb cake ink, and I am going to just apply the crumb cake ink to my layer. And this is called direct paper. So ink to paper, direct to paper technique, what I'm doing here. And whoops. You don't have to make it super dark, but I just want that glare of the vanilla gone. So that's good enough. I think that looks good. Next, I'm going to take my cardstock and I'm going to crumple it up. And this can be kind of scary. Don't let it scare you. Crumple it up. And you know what? If one of the edges tears, it's not a big deal. This is supposed to be rustic. It's camouflage. And it'll just add to the charm of your piece. So I'm going to leave this crumpled up like this. And I am going to come in with some soft suede ink. And I am just going to kind of dab at my piece here, and you see how the ink is just touching kind of the points that are sticking up. So you can do this as much as you want, and if you find that you're not getting ink someplace where you'd like it, like right about here, just make that stick up so you can get some ink in there. All right, there we go. And next we're going to kind of crumple this up a little bit more because we need it to touch on some different peaks on here. And I'm going to come in with some Old Olive. These are perfect colors for camouflage, right? Now I'm really kind of pressing this a little harder on here. It's mostly sticking just to those peaks that I already did, so I'm going to manipulate my paper a little bit so I can get some of this Old Olive in here, not right on top of the soft suede that I did. So there we go. And then I'm going to come in with some Always Artichoke. And again, I'm just going to kind of manipulate the paper again so I'm hitting different points on it. And now I'm going to kind of just dab it. Wipe it, dab it. Do whatever you have to do to get that ink into places that are still kind of the tan crumb cake. This is getting kind of dark on me. You might want to lighten up just a little bit more than that because now we kind of can't really see the brown. But you get the idea, right? So let me bring in the card that I made, and you can see that I didn't get as crazy with the ink on this one as I did on this one, but this is still going to be really attractive. Once you get this part done, I simply turned it over and grabbed a bone folder and just straightened my cardstock back out. And this seems to work really good. It's kind of softer now. You've broken down the fibers in it. And you're just going to do this. Now, I would apply this to a vanilla layer that's 4 by 5 1/4. So it's just 1/8 of an inch bigger. And I'm going to use my liquid glue because I want to get good glue all the way around the outside where this layer is, of course, crinkled up. So we're going to put this right on here. And you might find that you need to trim this layer a little bit because the paper has shrunk from all this, you know, scrunching that you did on it. Okay, this looks pretty good. And I can see that it's a little bit longer on here, so I would just put that in my paper trimmer and trim off a small little slice of it. But I'm going to make sure that all my edges are down so I don't have gaps around the outside. So, and see, look, I didn't get even, I didn't really get that dirty. I mean, I've got a little ink on my hands, but it dries super fast. So this is the Crinkle method of camouflage. Pretty cool looking, right? I thought it was pretty awesome. Now we're going to do another technique that involves a stamp set. The stamps that I'm using here is called Playful Backgrounds, and you've got all these neat little images. And when I was looking for a set that would work for what this idea that I had, I decided that I really like these. They're kind of random little splotches. So again, I'm going to bring in my piece of vanilla cardstock that's 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And I'm going to get my stamp ready here. And then also I've got one of the Stampin' Scrubs that I'm going to get ready so I can clean my stamp in between colors. And again, I'm going to start with my crumb cake ink. Let's bring this back in here. And I'm just going to apply that to my piece. Maybe this time I'll leave it just a little bit lighter than the last one. These are all going to look different, so that's pretty cool too. Well, maybe I'm not leaving it lighter because I just made that dark, right? Okay. Then we're going to go again with the soft suede, and I'm just going to ink this up and start stamping random images all over my background. And you want to make sure you're moving it around so that they don't look real uniform. And let's put another one right there, and how about one more right here? Okay, then we're going to clean this. When I use my Stampin' Scrub, you get 2 of these. You get, you know, it opens up and you have a pad on each side. But what I tend to do is just keep one on my desk, and I spray one side and use the other side to dry. Then I'm going to come in with the Old Olive. And again, I'm just randomly stamping. And you can see that green coming in here. That's going to give us the cool camouflage look. Just keep stamping till you're happy. However much makes you like your background, that's what you want to do. Again, we're going to clean this and go with the Always Artichoke. Very random. You know that camouflage tends to be really a busy look. You can do this with just about any solid stamp. Like, I was kind of looking for a solid leaf. You can do it with a solid leaf. I didn't have any that I ran across quickly. But there we go. There's our camouflage. And it may look like kind of just like a mess. But once you get your card put together, it's a pretty neat technique. I'm going to take this and mount it again on a piece of very vanilla that's 4 by 5 1/4. The reason why I'm doing that is because I'm going to put this on a dark early espresso card base. And this vanilla, this very thin layer of vanilla underneath, really makes the color pop. Let me grab some early espresso here. Here we go, just so you can see. So it really makes it pop. Do you see that? So I always like to kind of do that. You've got a very busy pattern and then a solid, bright layer that's going to make your card pop. Just a couple more things I wanted to show you about this card. Here is the camouflage using the background stamp. And the stamp set that I chose for this card that I was making for my husband. So here's my little story. I was making this card for my husband the other night after I got back from the hospital when he had his surgery and everything seemed fine. I got that phone call about 10 o'clock to come back to the hospital because things were going very wrong. But I started making this card for him. So tonight I'm finally coming home and finishing it. I used the Wilderness Awaits stamp set, and this is a great masculine stamp set. My husband is a big elk hunter. He goes to Colorado elk hunting, and I just thought this was very appropriate to make him a get well card, which I will now have to wait until he is out of the intensive care unit so I can actually give it to him. But anyways, Wilderness Awaits. This is retiring, I'm sad to say. You want to make sure you get this before May 22nd because all stamp sets are being guaranteed by Stampin' Up! To be in stock until May 22nd. After that date, if they run out of the ones that they have made in their inventory, they will not be making any more. So get yourself the Wilderness Awaits stamp set so you can make some awesome man cards, right? That's what I always call them, man cards. Then I wanted to show you how I did my burlap ribbon and baker's twine over here because it's a really easy little technique that I like to use. I'm going to take my burlap ribbon, and this particular piece is about 5.5 or 6 inches long. I've cut it on a diagonal and I'm going to fold it in half right here. And then I'm going to take a piece of the thick baker's twine that's about 10 inches long. And I'm going to set that down right here in the middle of my burlap ribbon. And I'm going to bring in a stapler and I'm going to staple that right in place. I like to do this when I'm tying the baker's twine on my cards because it holds everything in place nicely and you know that it's not going to fall off. So if you think of doing this before you start layering your card layers together, you can just use a staple. Your baker's twine covers up your staple and you know it's not going to fall off because, I mean, really, sometimes mini glue dots don't like to stick real well to ribbon or burlap or whatever. And one last thing, boy, you're getting your money's worth today, right? I don't charge for my videos, so, but it is helpful if you place orders. So you can keep these videos coming to you through ordering on my Stampin' Up! Store site, which I will put in the comment section of my video. If you'd like to place an order for any of these supplies, please feel free. It would also be very helpful because I'm going to have some tremendous medical bills to pay. Yay. I know everybody has problems and it can always be worse. So we're counting our blessings here. I'm going to stamp my elk on a oval that I cut out using the layering ovals. Then I'm going to take my stamp and ink up the rocks that my elk is standing on down here again. And I'm just going to bring that in and stamp it. Oh, I got that a little too close. Let's try that again. That's why there's always two sides, right? Okay, here comes my elk. And then I'm going to ink this up again and turn it over so the rocks are at the top here. And just stamp those so that that rock isn't like sitting out there in Never Never Land. I've kind of made it go down off the layer. So cool idea, right? Here we go. We have the crinkle method to make our camouflage background, okay? And then we have the stamped method where I used the playful backgrounds. So any type of random image would work well for this technique. Which one do you like better? Leave a comment on YouTube under the video and tell me, which do you like better? What do you prefer? I've got an envelope here that I stamped up to match my card. Don't forget to stamp your envelopes. And on the inside, I thought this was appropriate. I used the You've Got This. This is a double set. There's another whole set of stamps that goes with this one. But I stamped on the inside, You've Got This, because he certainly needs some encouragement. He's going to have a long recovery road. And then just a piece of the elk there to, you know, I like to decorate the insides of my cards. I'm a little mellow tonight. I've had a very long day at the hospital, and I just thought some stamping would be a great therapy for me tonight. And I really wanted to show you this. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to earn your business. You can pop me an email at kelly@astampabove.com. Also, head on over to my blog, astampabove.com, where you will find an online ordering button, all the ingredients and dimensions for these cards and photos of them all in one place. I know my husband is going to love this card, so add a sparkle to someone's day. Send him a card.